Can black people be iconic in their patriotism? We're going to talk about that on today's episode. Novacaine, you got to do the thing.
Class is now in session.
Yo, welcome to a brand new episode of Society and Pop Culture 101. I am Instructor BK.
I am instructor Novacaine.
And on today's episode, we are going to be talking about black patriotism and why it's not accepted by certain people within this country.
A lot of different people.
A lot of different people. Why
A
can't
lot of
we be
different people.
patriotic?
No. I guess people think, I don't know. You know what? Honestly, I think I know why. I think people tie in patriotism with how we see this country and how this country has a history of treating us black folks differently and
Yeah,
justly. So I think that's why we aren't allowed to be patriotic.
I think I agree. I think our history within just everything that has been pummeled on top of us is like we're carrying such a weight in our community, and then people tend to throw more things on top of our community that we don't even really have to be responsible for.
Right.
And it kind of makes our patriotism, it's not that I think it's not that we can't be patriotistic, it's just it looks differently than everybody else's.
Yeah. Facts.
And let's go ahead and call a spade here. Some of the patriotism, when we see it, it looks corny to us. There's
Very
no
corny.
swag to it. There's no swag
Very,
to it. There's no. I'm sorry. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just being honest. We're having an honest conversation here. We're being
Over
real.
the years, it got a little better. We got a little, it's a little something, something going on right now. Just a little something, something going on.
Yeah, but we don't want to walk around with flag draws or flag socks
You know what's
or
crazy?
what's that?
Technically, we're all breaking laws when we wear the flag.
We are actually. That is 100% true because we're not supposed to do that in any form, right?
No, technically, we're not.
Before we move forward, I do want to go ahead and let's just talk about the definition of patriotism. The quality of being patriotic, devotion to and vigorous support for one's country. Um, do you agree with that?
Vigorous support of one's country. Yeah, I completely agree with that. That sounds about right.
Another reason that I think a lot of black people don't like to be patriotic is because we have a super respect for God, and patriotism kind of slides right there with that idolization a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, you're right.
And
You're right.
we don't like to do that. If there's only one God before, you better not
Just
have
one
no gods before
Almighty.
me.
It's
It's
all
just
one
one.
mighty. Just one Almighty. That's it.
The only separation we got is the Trinity.
Okay. What? But what I still don't understand though is that what's wrong with us being patriotic? Like me personally, I've never really been patriotic other than my JROTC days. Shout out to Dunbar, three-peat champions. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out, shout out.
But, but I I guess I've always felt that way as well, like how we're treated. But at the same token, like when we leave this country, it doesn't matter what color I am. They're gonna look at me differently because I am American. Period.
Yeah.
So, and I guess it's that definition right there. Vigorous support. Did they say vigorous support?
I think it is a vigorous support.
Vigorous support. That's the part where I draw the line at. Like it's like okay, I support it just a little bit, but like I that's like me kind of like turning my back against what has happened in the past or what's even happening today. It
Yeah,
is allowed. So it's hard. It's hard.
it
It
is tough.
is. It definitely is. But I would love to be saying, "Oh, I love America. I love being a part of the United States of America." The USA, US. You only hear that during Olympics.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up because during the Olympics, it's like
Oh,
whatever
that's
happened, we let it go. It's like home team is the home team. It's
hmm
kind of like me with the Lakers. Like at first, I ain't really care for LeBron being on the Lakers squad,
But
but then I
now here
got
they
over it
are.
because he on the squad, and he been doing work. So welcome to the team. And
Now
I
this
think
welcome to the team. Bye. Bye, BK.
it took a little bit. Listen. LeBron was out here on our heads for a while. I still had some deep rooted hurt that I had to get past.
I
Okay,
understand. I understand.
but it does seem like the only time our black icons are accepted into the patriotic theming is Athleticism.
Yes.
Um, because when you think of American basketball, when they go to the Olympics to represent America, it's the dream team. I also would like to point out that the iconography around the dream team is kind of cool though. Like whoever the designer was, especially back in the day
Yeah.
when Jordan Nell was running the shop, um, whoever the graphic designer was for those outfits, you sir or ma'am
They did that.
absolutely used the American flag well. It was beautiful, beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful work. And just
Yes.
whoever that was, you absolutely did your job, and we got to clap it up for you. One, I do believe that how that team looked actually played into how black people start feeling.
Oh, yes. Most definitely. Because, like you said, it's a visual thing with a lot of us. And if the visuals aren't working, we don't want it.
Facts. Which brings us into some of the iconography around patriotism in America as a whole, because you have like race cars and they're loud and obnoxious. You have football, you have baseball, you have basketball, you have cowboys,
Yeah,
which
Cowboys.
which is something. Yes, there were black cowboys in the past. I just want to go ahead and point that out now.
And what?
But somewhere along the line, the cowboy aesthetic became white only. And I'm not saying that that was on purpose, but it became that way. I don't know how we got there, but it definitely became, when you think of cowboys, you exclusively think of white guys.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even think of white women, just the white dude in the cowboy outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And then which brings you around the country.
How did that end up switching up like that? That's a good question.
I don't know.
I guess just one day they just whitewashed it, and then you know how history goes. Once something is whitewashed, and as long as nobody's talking about it, it's going to stay that way.
If anybody knows what happened exactly, let us know. Because
Yeah.
my theory, jumping on what you just said, my theory would definitely be it definitely has something to do around farming and working the farms, because that's what cowboys was doing. They were doing like the herding and stuff like that, correct? So
Exactly.
given how we as the African American community kind of got pushed out of everything, I can see it becoming whitewashed, and then we were so far removed from it that it's like we didn't want to go back.
Right.
And then when you start looking at how the countryside, we're just talking about within the South, um,
And then the side.
the South, uh, there are two different looks for the South. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There's the cowboy look, and then there's the everyday look. if I look at the cowboy look as a kid, I'm like, I don't want to dress like that. I don't want to be that. So I think after we was pushed out for so long that we didn't mesh with the style anymore. And
Hmm.
so it was like easy pickings. This is not to say like R&B, the way that was taken from us. I don't think it was the same exact process.
Hmm.
R&B was something that was deliberately created to push us out of rock and roll. So
Mm.
because at some point before that it was called race music. So
You right.
I don't think that's what happened, but for some reason the aesthetic just doesn't stick with us like it used to because it doesn't seem cool anymore. So because we didn't really vibe with the aesthetic for a long time, we didn't. But here recently, leading up in the past, what 7, 10 years or so, I I got cowboys rolling through my hood back home. So
And it's exactly what you said earlier about making it stylish, having a visual to it. Like
yes,
somewhere along the line, especially these last 10 years, the style of a cowboy has changed drastically. Like it
it's
feels like it
become
was stuck for like a good 50 years, but like these
yeah,
last 10 years, oh man,
it's been glamorized. I mean, they had a brief moment there where they was doing the bedazzled thing.
yeah, yes,
That wasn't a thing for us. But you have to watch the evolution of black people coming back into the cowboy theming strongly. I mean, I guess you start with Darius Rucker. Um,
yes.
okay, so Hootie and the Blowfish is what most
Okay.
black people know this black dude,
Oh,
Darius Rucker.
you said Darius
Yeah,
Rucker. I thought you said Dez Smucker.
that
Dez Smucker. I was like, who is that?
that sounds like the most hallmark villain I've ever heard in my life.
That is a Hallmark villain. That
That
is a
is a
Hallmark.
hallmark villain.
So what
Dez
about
Smucker.
Darius? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, 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 you're fine. You're fine. So I think you have to credit him with the resurgence, not completely, but a start of it. I
Hmm.
mean, there were always black people doing the aesthetic that has been shunned, and people tried to push them out from it, saying that it's not our culture. When in reality, it is our culture. We just lost the art form for it. But like we said, in the last 10 years, we have artists, 10, 15, we have artists like Darius Rucker coming through. Here recently, you had the Buckle Bunny. You had people, what is it, Cowboy Troy before Buckle Bunny, it was Cowboy Troy. I think it's like Darius Rucker, Cowboy Troy. And then you can fast forward a little bit to the Buckle Bunny, who on Instagram is where I first seen her. These people have re-glamorized the cowboy aesthetic. It took like between Darius Rucker and Buckle Bunny, it took a while to get to this point.
A
But then
long while.
and then you had Shabuzi, who had a mega hit. So you already
Yep.
had Cowboy Troy rapping. Then you have Shabuzi coming through and artists using the black aesthetic in their country music. I'm not naming none of them. I'm not talking about the black artists. I'm talking about the white artists that was using it in between there as well. But some kind of way we got to Shabuzi, and then it super blew up. And then Beyonce. Now everybody was basically accepted until Beyonce got here. And when Beyonce got here, she re-revolutionized what everybody had already done and just skyrocketed into the stratosphere.
Yes,
I
indeed.
recently with Beyonce, she drops her country album. What's the name of the album?
Cowboy
No, you
Carter.
you know what? You got this part of the timeline. You
Cowboy
got
Carter. So Cowboy
okay.
Carter came out, dropped last year.
Mm-hmm.
And when Cowboy Carter dropped, everyone and their mom was like, what is Beyonce doing country music for?
Yeah.
And everyone that knows Beyonce has been following her, or as myself, like myself, we all know that she has been touching every genre she could get her hands on.
Pretty much. The woman is a chameleon in that regard. Like she wants to take up all the knowledge for
She wants
everywhere.
to just hit every genre she can touch. But if you also are a Beyonce fan, as myself, and as long as I've been a fan, you know that this is nothing new from her. She's done country music before. She's done dance music before. It's just that it was like one hit or one song on an album.
Uh,
Sometimes these would be tracks that people forget about. But there is a question of everyone asking, is Beyonce a country artist? Is Beyonce a country artist? Do you have to be a country artist to make country music?
no, because we're just gonna say no because I have some points I want to make later.
I also say no. Because if you're a music artist, I feel as though you can do music. You don't have to just stay in one genre. Unless that's your MO, that's your prerogative. But you're not it's not necessary. No
No.
one is talking about Post Malone making country music now.
So this is what I want to touch on, but since you brought them up, let's go and jump into it because there have been several artists even before Post Malone, but I think Post Malone and Jelly Roll, correct? Is Jelly Roll that was
Mhm.
also making hip hop music as well?
Mhm.
Um, we've had the discourse for this. We've talked about it already. They jumped in hip hop. They got a name for themselves, and then when it wasn't applicable or they wanted to go more mainstream, usually somewhere around when WWE called these white artists that was in hip hop, they tend to change their genre to reach a broader audience.
Mhm.
They become crossover stars. They were, I mean, technically they was already crossover stars when they was jumping into the hip hop genre, but then they cross over to country and they cross back over to rock. Miley Cyrus did it.
Machine Gun Kelly,
Machine Gun Kelly crossed over the rock.
Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake tried. It didn't work out as well.
He might as well just come on back.
Come, you might as well come on back over here and culture vulture yourself back into this game.
He dropped a song last year and it was definitely giving old school R&B. And I was like, okay, okay, I like this one.
I ain't gonna call you a culture vulture, sir. You're not a
You said the
culture
right thing.
vulture.
You said the right thing. It's okay.
Um, I mean, it wasn't me that called him out. It was Britney Spears that said he was out here perpetrating.
She didn't lie.
I don't think she did either. I don't think she did it. Timberland, you got to come out and say something so we can be
He
sure.
ain't gotta say Jack, okay? He know who he been working with over the past couple of decades.
I forgot that I don't have my alleged button here, so we can't say alleged this time. So
That's what you was reaching for.
that's what I was looking for. It's gone. The alleged button is gone
Allegedly.
for now. It'll be
Now,
back later.
now.
Um, so
Allegedly. All of those things happen.
but no, we definitely saw Jelly Roll. We definitely saw Post Malone. We definitely, I mean, and then there's other people that have crossed over and did country songs, but it's less controversial because they didn't stay in the genre. Like Neo has songs with, I think it's Tim McGraw.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Well, who else? Who else? Who else? Nelly dropped a whole
Nelly.
country album, which,
Snoop Dogg did reggae for a little bit.
yeah, so it's funny how for some reason all these artists can do this country thing and don't act like y'all did not celebrate Nelly's album because I heard Roll Tide Roll because I'm from Alabama and that is how I knew the album even was a thing because I wasn't checking for new Nelly music at the time. And I was like, what is everybody talking about this Roll Tide Roll song? And I was like, oh, it's Nelly's country album. I'm gonna listen to it.
All
Wasn't bad. Wasn't a
every
bad album.
single one of his album has went platinum. Somebody was listening to it.
Somebody, but nobody said Nelly can't be country. You did not have the same energy for Nelly that you do for Beyonce.
But
And
it's Beyonce.
I want to know what the difference is.
Because
And
it's
y'all can answer
Beyonce.
this. I want to know, I know because it's Beyonce, but what is the real root issue here for
Mm.
Beyonce not being able to, I don't know, make a country album and like it? Why
And
come it
I like
can't chart?
her album. I like Cowboy Carter. I'm a fan.
Like this ain't even got nothing to do with. I like some Beyonce songs. I do not consider myself to be a part of the Beehive for real. I know I
You're
made
not a
jokes
part of
about
Beyonce.
it,
No.
but I'm not a part of the Beehive.
You like some of
Um,
her music. At least you know. At least you
yeah.
understand and recognize greatness.
If you are greatness, I am going to give you your flowers every time. But hold on, I'm gonna, real quick.
Oh,
because I have to correct a wrong that I've made in certain shows back before we even became Society and Pop Culture
Oh,
101. After the whole Post Malone and Jelly Roll debacle of the past year, I just wanna I just want to give a shout out to Eminem.
oh,
Eminem, sir, thank you for your contributions to hip hop.
oh.
You you sir have been 100% real with the community. You ain't tripped, you ain't stumbled. Okay, you have stumbled. You have stumbled. But but when it came to being real about the hip hop thing, you sir stayed true to the art form and you never disrespected the art form. And for that, I have mad respect for you. And this is probably the only time I say this publicly like this. So, there's your flowers, sir. You deserve those. All right, we're gonna act like we didn't do that. Okay, so
Wait until I tell Simone. Just wait. Remember, like the episode drop is something in there that I really need you to watch.
don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. So so
Don't even know where to pick back up after that. Like,
I don't.
so
I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not. I do not. But it
I will back up what you said a little bit because I have to also say that Eminem has done a contribution to hip hop because a lot of people he got some sons out here. I ain't gonna lie, he
he
got
do. He
some sons.
do.
And the generation under us, they really, really, really respect Eminem. And it's a reason because of it.
Just a lot of Eminem love on this show today. You know what?
I've
You know
already
what?
said publicly I love his first three albums. I was a fan then, but I just fell off somewhere. And
You
then
know what?
I just don't understand why people say he's one of the top five greatest of all time. But
You know what?
their opinion.
I'm for now on, I will no longer be anti Eminem on this show the
I,
way I have been in the past. That space has now been reserved for Drake. I'm sorry, Drake. I'm sorry, Drake. Speaking of culture vultures, Drake, sir, Drake,
Cause
are
why are
you
you
okay?
suing? That's a whole nother conversation for
That's
another.
a whole. We're getting off.
That's a whole nother
Um,
conversation.
so let's talk about what we saw in the Beyonce Bowl. If you didn't watch it on Netflix, that was a football game. I don't
On
even remember who was playing.
the Texans and the Ravens.
The Texans and the Ravens was playing,
Mhm.
and the Beyonce Bowl just pretty much made that game obsolete. No one
No one
even talked about the game
No
after
one
it was
cared about
over.
the game when it was over. It was like, what was the score? 30 something to 2 or something like that? 20 something to 2? I don't know. It was
I
just
don't know.
they only had that safety on the board, so nobody talked about it.
The
So
only thing I heard about was Beyonce's halftime show. Some people hated it, some people loved it, some people had real criticisms, and then some people was just um the usual racism that they spew at Beyonce and hate and bigotry. What was your thoughts on the Beyonce Bowl?
of course I loved it. It's Beyonce. So I think the problem is like I said before, is Beyonce. Anytime she does anything, this woman will be criticized. It was like you said, there was something missing in the when we were talking earlier, there was something just a little something missing in the performance. And what I think is that no one was is used to this type of Beyonce. Like she's a little bit more older now. She's a bit more poised, and you can tell that like she is kind of really training Blue Ivy to become some type of entertainer. Because
Yeah,
the type of show that she puts on now, she's still a perfectionist and she still does her thing, but it's like different. It's more family friendly, of course, too. Um,
yeah,
I enjoyed the performance. One of my biggest parts were all the female country music singers that came out when they were like walking in.
yeah.
Of
It was
course,
fun.
of course, Blue Ivy, and like we were speaking about earlier, the swag, all
Oh
of
yeah.
the outfits, like everybody's outfit was just like, okay, if this is 2025 cowboy outfits, I'm here for it. I could do this.
I
I'm
think I think her performance, especially like we said with the outfits, I think this performance is probably like the most intricate, significant part of bringing the cowboy culture back to us.
yeah.
Um, Not to mention, what was that movie that Jonathan Majors and Regina King, all of them was in on
Oh
Netflix a few?
yes, the harder they fall. I love that
The
film.
Harder They Fall. I forgot that happened too. So you can add that to the aesthetic as well. Um, there has been so many different building blocks getting black people back into the cowboy aesthetic. The Bass Reeves, a lot of people didn't know that Bass Reeves was the inspiration for the Lone Ranger.
Mhm.
So like we've always been, our DNA is still there. Our DNA is everywhere. Pause. Our DNA is into a lot of the cultural things that we no longer participate in. And
Facts.
now that things are once again shifting back to us, we're not trying to take the culture back. We're trying to reintegrate ourselves back into it.
Hmm.
We're reinvigorating it for ourselves, not to change what has happened. You don't have to hate it, and I think that's what's going on with Beyonce as a whole.
I bless you. Yes.
So Beyonce as a whole is, she's polarizing. She's
Hmm.
talented. She's beautiful. She's skilled, and she's the queen of pop for real.
Hmm.
That's not to say the queen of sales, even though she does extremely well. Her concerts does well. They sell out everywhere she goes. We also understand that Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande is also in the running for this, but there's a stark difference in between them,
Hmm.
which brings me to my point of why the NFL calls Beyonce so much, because this is her third time being called by the NFL to
Yeah.
perform. It has less to do with Jay Z, because the first time she was called, I don't think Jay Z was involved at that point.
I don't think he was. Yeah, he wasn't a
No,
part
he wasn't involved yet. That
the
came
first
later.
2 times because
Yeah,
the second time she was out there was with Bruno Mars
Bruno.
Coldplay.
Yeah. So, I mean, technically, their Coldplay is friends with Beyonce, but they had the song with Beyonce, so it makes sense. Anyway,
Yeah,
um,
but Jay Z ain't had nothing to do with
but
it.
no, Jay Z wasn't in the office at that
Nope,
point.
he wasn't a part of it yet.
So you have to understand that there is no artist on this earth that matches the energy and the aesthetic that Beyonce has.
Exactly.
And the NFL needs that energy, they need that aesthetic. Now, that's not to say artists aren't talented. Look at Rihanna's performance, for instance.
Hmm.
She brought the look. Rihanna brought the look, but she does not have the energy that Beyonce has.
She doesn't.
Bruno,
Also, don't forget she was pregnant.
of course, but even is
Even if she
Rihanna is
wasn't
great.
pregnant, yeah, even if she
Yeah,
wasn't pregnant, she still wouldn't be able to put on a show the way
no.
Beyonce can.
Beyonce whole aesthetic is grafted for stadiums. And
Yes,
I think that's the part everybody miss. Everybody else is created to do concerts. Beyonce is created her own niche in stadium.
exactly, and that's a whole nother ball game.
I mean, there's artists that does stadium songs, but you're not finna get the dancing and the fireworks and the beautiful women and the bands. You're not finna get that from Usher. You're not finna get that from Aerosmith. You're not finna get that from Ariana Grande. You're definitely not getting it from Taylor Swift. Not at that level. The closest was Bruno Mars, and he did an amazing job.
The
But even he had to bring in Beyonce.
There it is. Even he still had to bring in Beyonce. Okay.
So it's The Beyonce Bowl was great. I felt like the energy was like a little bit lower temperature this time around, which is fine. I think that's what was missing for me a little bit, some more of that energy that I'm used to her having. But her album itself didn't call for that.
Her, there it is. The album is like a turn up album. It's a nice, chill country album. Period.
Yeah,
A couple of the songs give R&B. A couple of the songs give
yeah.
R&B, but overall, that's a country album.
If y'all hearing that, that's my niece on the mic. She
Okay.
trying to be a part of the show.
She got a lot to say.
But why is it the question is, why is it that Beyonce has this iconic country album? She brought all the iconic iconography to her performance. Who did she have? She had Dolly Parton. She sung Jolene. She brought in Post Malone. She brought in Shabuzi. She had an American made car. She had the white horse. She wore
Mhm.
all white. These are all things that if any other country music star did, this would be the most patriotic thing
Oh my
of
god.
all time.
Oh my gosh. If Carrie
She's
Underwood would have done it, oh my gosh, she's such a patriot. We love Carrie. Carrie is the best ever. We knew we could love Carrie.
she did the finger guns. Oh my gosh,
We
she's
did
for guns.
it. She,
She did it for the guns. America, that's a statement. So why is it that when we as black people do the same thing in the same model, albeit a little more swag on top of it, howbeit there is some swag there. Why is it that it's not accepted the same way? Why is it that Beyonce can't be an American icon, but Taylor Swift can? And again, this is
Beyonce.
not this is not against Taylor Swift. It's just why is that a problem?
Did Taylor Swift start off making country music or was it more like a pop sound?
So if I'm remembering correctly, a lot of those artists that considered themselves country was doing the whole pop sound anyway.
Yeah, you're
Because
right.
I've heard people complain about it, like, oh, Jason Aldean sounds like he doing a watered down version of pop hip hop. So most of the time, because I think it was the snaps that they were putting into the country
Yes,
music that people
and
didn't like.
the drum beats because the two
Yeah,
songs I could think of automatically is that song 22. I love that song first and foremost. That's like my main favorite Taylor Swift song. And then the Shake It Off song. The Shake It Off song is definitely given like old school 90s hip hop a little bit. And it
yeah,
and then just add like a little dab of like Disney flair to it. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah. Agreed. Like again, this is not my anti Taylor Swift rant. Again, like I said earlier in the episode, that is reserved for Drake. Uh, but I just don't. I don't understand what it is. I know Beyonce did the whole Black Power outfit with the fist at one time, but if Nelly can drop a country music album and be invited to the inauguration, if Snoop Dogg, one of America's number one gangsters in music, can be invited to the inauguration. I don't even know what Soldier Boy did to be invited. Oh, I do know. Thank you for saving TikTok, Soldier Boy.
chill.
Um,
Chill.
so and he could be invited to the inauguration. What's wrong with Beyonce? I don't think there's a real answer to this. I don't think y'all have a real answer for that.
There's not a real answer other than hate. They hate her so much that they can't stand her breathing. Like, oh my gosh, Beyonce's breathing still. Oh my gosh, she had children. Oh my goodness, Beyonce's dropping music because she's a music artist and she just can't stop dropping music. Oh my gosh, she's going on tour again.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that hate. But even in Snoop Dogg, Nelly, and Soldier Boy performing at the inauguration, they are still not considered to be patriotically iconic.
No, but they have been denounced. A lot of people are denouncing them, and I just don't understand. Like, for one, Snoop Dogg is a for everyone artist. Snoop does not discriminate on a paycheck. He
Well,
goes everywhere. Everybody,
well,
Snoop Dogg is always off doing these side quests. Why can't the inauguration ball be a side quest? Everybody's not going to agree to it. That's okay.
well, when you consider one, the things he said, he had to backtrack a lot.
What you say?
And well,
I be missing what these
that
people.
was just like, remember when everybody was talking about performing at the first inauguration of Trump when he was 45, not 47. He was like, if anybody come and perform for him, they basically Uncle Tom's. And he didn't say it like that, but it was more or less so around that type of language.
They didn't perform for inauguration ball. They performed for the rally
The
before
cr-
the
the
inauguration.
crypto ball. It was a crypto ball, which I also have issues with the crypto ball, but I think that's a conversation for another day.
But if we could get over them performing, we definitely need to apologize to Chrisette Michelle. Uh,
Oh yeah.
Me, myself, and I never canceled her because, like I said then, I'll say it now. Just because she sang at the inauguration does not mean that she's not for the people. And I think that's what people are failing to realize. Like, I'm not one of those type of people. If you voted for Trump, we can't be friends. No, I don't
No, no,
vote
no.
for him. That's not a deal breaker for a friend. I just want you to recognize everything he stands for. Yeah, there are some things that are probably going to come out really great out of his administration, maybe. But when he says certain things, I want you to just recognize those things. It's okay to go ahead, agree with him. We're not going to agree to everything, and that's fine. We can still be friends. That's fine. Vote for him. That's fine. I'm not turning my back on you. But be realistic and know exactly what he's doing out here.
What I want all of us to do, like you said, we can be cool and we can be friends. I want us to disconnect from the culture war aspect of Trump as a whole. Disconnect from all the cultural rhetoric and focus on his policies and how they will affect everybody. Yes, I know some of those policies dig into the culture war aspect, but I'm saying drop all the language. Don't worry about none of the language he uses and only focus on what he does and what he signs into law because that's where we get into the real trouble. I don't agree with like a chunk of his platform. I don't have hate for anyone. So I mean that's not a thing. And I don't have any hate for Snoop Dogg or Nelly, but I will not be using my Spotify to add any more spins to any of their records.
Honestly, like keeping it real, I don't listen to Snoop Dogg. I couldn't tell you one album that I was like, yeah, I love Snoop Dogg. I know his Doggy Style album is good. It's a classic. But
Yeah, that's gonna be hard.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, Snoop Dogg's my favorite artist. He's not even my top 10 favorite rappers of all time. So it's like he's one of those rappers that you actually forget that they were a rapper because they did so much other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to all the great work he's done. The kids stuff he's doing, moving into his entrepreneurship deals, buying Death Row. That's all great. I got music of Snoop Dogg before streaming was a thing. So if I really wanted to listen to the songs that I love, I'll be fine. Um,
I'm
but
not
yeah,
a Nelly fan. Soldier Boy, he'll never get another Yule out of me. Say, no, I'm just kidding. Soldier Boy is what we call what's the word? A
not
get
another
wit.
you.
Soldier Boy is a get wit. He just goes where he needs to go. I'm actually surprised Waka Flocka Flame, Kodak Black, and this was the third person I wanted to mention.
Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne was not at this performance.
Hold up, wait. Lil Wayne got snubbed twice this year.
Oh well,
Dang.
I am probably one of his biggest fans, and I will say he got to put on a better performance. I'm sorry. I love him. I love his music. I love what he's done for hip hop. I still like his new stuff. I still like some of his new stuff. But what I will not do, and I think that's why people don't like having conversations with me, even when I talk about my favorites, because I keep it
Mhm.
real. He is not a great performer. That's it. I've seen him forget the lyrics of a song before.
Perform. I think we're getting into the weeds a little bit. So, do those artists make you feel more patriotic by performing for the
No,
inauguration?
no,
So once again, but if you say, do you feel more patriotic when it comes down to Beyonce performing country music and doing all the American? So if we don't feel patriotic when we see our patriots be patriotic, right? And we see them rejecting our icons, even though they are being patriotic, what do we do from there? Because it seems like we're at a rock and a hard place.
that's a good question, BK. I do not have an answer for you on that one. We might just have to have a whole new term for people that are just a bit patriotic, but they're not like extremists.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a term that just like a sub patriot. Like
I'm some triotic, not
I'm some
completely.
triotic. I'm not completely there yet. I'm some triotic.
All right. Before we wrap this conversation up, coming up, we have in February, Captain America Brave New World is coming to theaters. I think, what is it, February 14th? Is it the 14th?
I can't wait. Yeah, because it dropped on Valentine's Day. That's why I remember it.
All through the comments of every time Marvel posts Captain America, two things happen.
Uh oh.
One, not my Captain America, and two, the movie's gonna be trash because he not uh
Chris Evans.
white. He's not Chris Evans.
Oh,
They say Chris Evans, but he's not white. Because the person that they want to have the shield is Bucky.
in the comics, doesn't Sam get the shield?
Sam does get the shield.
Mm-hmm.
Bucky gets it first. But see, this is the problem with the whole argument of not my Captain America because he never got the shield. Sam does get the shield, but he didn't get the shield to 2015, I want to say.
Okay.
During the all different, all new, all different Marvel, which is their Black Initiative, basically. So you had the Ultimate Universe come to an end, and you had like Miles Morales be ported over. The Miles Morales from the Ultimate Universe gets ported into the main timeline of Marvel, and you see Captain America in the main timeline lose his serum, and the shield is passed to Sam, chosen by Captain America's Steve Rogers. Steve chose Sam to be Shield. He didn't choose his son. He didn't choose Bucky. He didn't choose Thunderbolt Ross. He didn't go back and choose any of the old Captain Americas. By the way, for
Sam.
those people that keep saying that Sam is the first black Captain America, he is not. Sam is like the second or third. The first one was Isaiah Bradley.
Isaiah. Mm-hmm.
And I think it's been two more. There's the Patriot, I want to say, and then there's another black character. They just recently brought him back. I don't know if they took the shield up, but Isaiah Bradley definitely did take the shield, and he handed it off. I mean, through some government shenanigans, of course.
Right.
They gave the shield to Captain America, Steve Rogers. But Sam Wilson is Captain America, whether you like it or not.
Whether
He's
you
Captain
like
America.
whether you
He's
like it or not, this man is Captain America. And I'm going to stop making this joke now that you said something about it because I've been making this joke saying Captain Falcon America. Everybody that are Nintendo fans, y'all know who Captain Falcon is.
Captain Falcon is that guy.
He is that guy. He is that guy. But I'm going to stop putting that in there because that's taken away from him being Captain America. And he's no longer the Falcon. There's a whole new person that's Falcon. And Sam now is Captain America. Two, I do not know why these people talking about something's going to be a trash movie. If you are a Marvel fan, you know that Captain America's franchise is the strongest in the whole
Max.
MCU. They have the
Thank
strongest
you.
from the very first intro movie until Civil War. It was the strongest. Captain America is the strongest character in the whole MCU. Not Iron Man. Iron Man movies kind of suck on the low, especially number three. But that's a whole nother story.
One, two, three really did take a
Literally, just
nosedive.
like it was like, oh, like,
It's definitely not Thor. You definitely can't depend on Thor for good movies.
it's
Ragnarok was good.
Ragnarok was good. Ragnarok was good. There's three other films. I'm sorry, three. There's three other films, okay? And we're talking about Ragnarok was good. Anywho, anywho, so please, there's no way that this movie is going to be trash. There hasn't been a big drop like this for Marvel for the main characters in over a year now.
Yeah,
It's been an entire year since a little bit over a year. No, an entire year since Ant-Man Quantumania.
yeah,
Like, there's no way they about to film fumble this. They listen to all of the critics. They listen to everything that we're saying. They've been working on this movie for like 4 years. If this
yeah. And then they reshot it.
and they
They did reshoots. They done dropped storylines. I think Seth Rollins not in the movie no more.
Seth Rollins was supposed to be in the movie.
Yeah, he was part of the Serpent Society, which is a huge,
Oh,
not a
interesting.
huge part, but they are a large part of Captain America's B team villains that we'll probably see some semblance of, but not the whole thing.
Not the
But
whole.
yeah, point is, we're gonna see.
Wait. Before you get there, because I got button this up.
Go ahead, button it up, girl. Button it up.
They don't want Captain America to be a black man because of exactly what this episode is about. They think that black folks cannot be patriotic.
Message, message, and they can't be patriotic by following the black dude.
And they can't be patriotic. There it is. There it is. That's it. I'm going.
And and if you think I'm making up just stuff out of my butthole here, um, let's talk about Condoleezza Rice,
Oop,
Colin Powell.
Barack Obama.
You had issues. Not everybody, but those people who had issues know who they are. So now we're about to test your patriotic knowledge here. Not
Patriot.
your knowledge, but we're about to thank you. We're about to test your patriotism,
Hmm.
and we're gonna see how you react to Captain America. America. Captain America.
There you go.
After he drops, if this movie turns out to be good, because a lot of people are like it's just gonna be Black Panther. No, this is a totally different character.
This is a whole different character with a whole different storyline. Did y'all not watch the trailer? No. Did they watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier? No.
No, no. Wish they changed that movie. COVID really ruined that show.
Did they even watch um what is it? What's the movie? I'm losing it. In game? No.
No, I mean they probably did watch Endgame, but they didn't really pay attention to the fact. Anyway, this is listen, and this is my last point. I am going into this movie super excited because I finally get to see Sam Wilson with the shield on the big screen. I've
Yeah.
been waiting for this moment for since 2015 when he got the shield in the comic. I
Hmm.
am a huge fan. I was hyped. I supported the comic, and I'm going to support this movie just the same way. Just like I support any Marvel project for real. So it's really not that big of a change. It's just listen, this ain't Black Panther. This ain't the Black Panther moment, y'all. This is just a good movie. Just
Just
accept the movie for being a good movie.
there it is.
Allow it to be a movie, okay?
Let it be
Go
another
in.
piece to the MCU puzzle. That's it.
Yeah, this is not like some super cultural shift, you guys. It's just Captain America and he ain't white this time. And that's okay. You guys, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to enjoy this moment. I'm going to enjoy this moment.
I am too. And I can't wait until they drop. I'm excited. I'm excited for a lot of different reasons in January 2025. But go Commanders. But
I hope you guys make it all the way to the top.
hope so too, man. I'm
To the
hoping.
tippy top.
While we're recording this is before the NFC Championship. Just saying that out loud is still so surreal.
Yeah,
Manders NFC Championship. Like what? So
yeah.
anyway,
We're in overtime now. So, any last statements?
go see Captain America: Brave New World. Is definitely going to be worth the time.
Um, so we're gonna consider this last part a part one in a sense because after the movie drop, we're gonna come back and we're gonna revisit the reception because watching the hate and vitriol for this character, just like with Beyonce, you guys are rampant, rabid. You rabidly hate these two characters, or this character and the woman that is Beyonce, for seemingly just being patriotic and black.
Yeah.
And we have to accept all forms of patriotism.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have to allow us to learn what our patriotism looks like. Give us time. We'll figure it out because we've been through a lot in this country. And
Mm-hmm.
before y'all go, that was your ancestors. No, it wasn't. We in this generation, millennials and after and before,
And
we've
before,
all still been through a lot in this country.
this is the fact.
And it is really hard to be patriotic when you are hated because of what you look like and what you represent, especially when you misrepresent what we represent like all the time. Look at the real people and not what you think we are. And
That's a
that's all I got to say on that one. Make
that's
sure you
it.
guys tune in the next couple of weeks because we got a very special guest coming through. Anything could change, but right now everything is scheduled up. And I'm not going to say too much. I'm just going to say we're going to learn a lot about the do can I say that
Keep
and
your
not get censored?
no, don't say it yet. Just leave it. Just leave it alone. Leave
We're
it
going to
at
learn something about a thing that's been a real rampant problem in this country for the past 15, 20 years, especially dealing with our daughters and our children as a whole. But anyway, Novacaine, let them know what they got to do for us.
head on over to YouTube, like, share, subscribe, follow us, share, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Make sure you follow us, subscribe to us, leave comments, leave reviews so we know which way to grow and which way to flow.
Yeah, I have been instructor BK Spades.
I am instructor Novacaine.
We love you guys. We up out. Thank you for listening to Society and Pop Culture 101, a Culture Clash Network podcast. Be sure to listen to JB versus the World, the Humble Roses podcast, Marks with Mics, and get your podcast on the Culture Clash Network. This is CCN. Thanks for listening.